Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to this meeting of the Bracknell Town Council Regeneration Committee. Please note that the meeting is being recorded. For clarity, voting is only permitted by the members who are present in the room. Any member joining the meeting remotely is able to participate in the debate, but not able to vote. Other than that, normal rules apply. Agenda item 1, apologies. Hannah, are there any apologies?
I have apologies from Councillor Temperton, and Councillor Jeffries is here substituting for her.
Thank you. I can see that members of the committee are in attendance and their names will be recorded in the minutes. Please can the clerk confirm if any members are joining remotely and if those members could confirm their attendance when Hannah calls your name.
I can confirm there are no members joining remotely.
Thank you. Agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any?
Yes, Chair.
Would you like to tell us what they are?
Councillor Neil needs to declare an interest as board member of the JV.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Bidwell also has an interest in the JV, also as a board member of the BID and a school governor with Fox Hill Schools. Agenda item 3, minutes. Can I have confirmation of the last set of meeting minutes and whether they were a true record? Was anybody there?
Chair, I'm happy to propose them as a correct record.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Agenda item 4, urgent items of business. Hannah, are there any? Sorry? Oh, sorry, yes. All in favour of the minutes being as a true record of the last meeting? Any abstentions? Any against? Okay, that's passed. Agenda item 4, urgent items of business. Are there any urgent items of business?
No, none notified, Chair.
Thank you. Exclusion of press and public. Agenda item 5 is supported by annexes containing exempt information as defined in Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972. If the committee wishes to discuss the contents of these annexes in detail, it may choose to move to closed session. Do we want to move to a closed session?
Maybe you want to see what comes out in the discussion before you make that decision.
Okay, shall we take it on guidance that we'll wait until that agenda item comes up? Okay. So I think if we do decide to go to closed session, then in pursuant of Regulation 4 of the Local Authorities Executive Arrangements, Access to Information Regulations of 2012, and having regard to the public interest, members of the public and press will be excluded from the meeting for consideration of items 7, 8 or 9, which we will determine at the time. It involves the likely disclosure of exempt information under the following category of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972. 3, information relating to the financial or business affairs of the council. Okay, I'd like to move on to agenda item 5 and invite the Assistant Director for Contract Services, Damien James, to present the item.
Thank you very much, Chairman. This paper looks at the options in respect of the off-street council-run car parks in the town centre, which are reviewed annually in September, in line with the anniversary of the opening of the Lexicon in 2017. It additionally considers the cost of parking for Bracknell and Wokingham College students using Bracken Walk car park. In terms of the college, the current cost for any car park stay for any duration is £2, and consideration should be given to increasing the set tariff to make any change proportion to the daily tariff. So the recommendation in 2.3 suggests increasing this charge to £2.50 per day. In relation to the remaining town centre car parks, the council entered into a 40-year lease to manage the Avenue multi-storey car park and Weatherway surface car park in 2017. The council owns and manages the High Street and Bracken Walk multi-storey car parks, although the committee will know that the High Street car park will close at the end of October. The lease for the Avenue car park sets the method of calculating the maximum permissible fee increases for day rate parking. High Street and Bracken Walk car parks align with this methodology in order to maintain a balance for council-run car parks in the town centre. The Avenue and Bracken Walk mainly provide for the needs of shoppers. Weatherway car park provides the only unrestricted height accessible public car park for town centre users. High Street has traditionally been used for season tickets and staff parking, which will relocate to Bracken Walk on closure. And for longer stays, and particularly for those that work in the town centre, preferential rates are available at Albert Road and Wick Hill car parks, where season tickets are also available. So as detailed in Table 1, the options for increasing daily charges are that rates are increased in all 4 car parks by the maximum amount that is permissible in the Avenue car park, according to the lease, which is option 1. And rates, or alternatively option 2, rates are increased by a maximum of 10p in all 4 car parks for all charging bands. The rates are shown in Table 2 for each hourly band and compared to nearby locations in the table in 5.16. Paragraphs 5.18 to 5.21 show the net income position. So if there was no increase given at this evening's committee, then there would be a net loss on car parking of £266,000. Option 2, which is a 10p increase across all bands, would give a net loss of £154,000. And only option 1 gives a positive net income position of £111,000. Recommendations to the committee are listed in 2.1 to 2.3, with option 1 being the preferred option. Thank you, Chairman. Happy to take any questions if there are any.
Thank you very much. Before we go to an external question, can I invite questions from the committee? No? Then I'd like to invite Councillor Barnard to ask the question. Yes, you can find yourself a seat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My first question, Chair, is to yourself, because I think the report is self-explanatory in terms of the car parking rises that are put forward. I mean, it's worth highlighting the fact that, of course, they're significantly in excess of inflation. Can you, as Chair, share with me your thinking as why a above inflationary rise is appropriate at a time of economic challenge? Given that the dwell time in Bracknell, the Bracknell car parks is around about an hour, footfall is key and important to maintaining the lexicon into the state it is. And whereas I recognise the need to include charge, what I'm missing from this report is the message this sends to the investors in the lexicon, the retailers, and to our residents. Because the unfortunate consequence of this is that the headline will be that it is more expensive to park in Bracknell for the first hour than it is in other locations, including the Oracle. So I just want to know that bigger picture for reassurance, because we fought hard for this regeneration. We fought hard to make the lexicon as good as it is. So I want to know the reassurance you can send to those that are actually investing in our town centre, the retailers that have come to it, that actually this won't undermine that footfall and actually, you know, damage the longer term prospects, given that we know that investors can make decisions as to whether they continue to invest, pull out, sell on, etc. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, nobody wants to increase any charges to the public, but unfortunately the situation over the last few years has seen revenue drop while costs have increased, and in line with the other positions we have in the council, there's no alternative but to go to a position where we can optimise our income and minimise any overrunning costs. I hope that answers your question.
Actually, no, Chair, it doesn't, because my question recognised the need to increase the cost of car parking. It was as the political decision that you are making and the message that you are sending to those that are investing in the town centre that this won't damage those prospects in the future, because ultimately, and you know from the economic strategy meetings and discussions you've had, that this is key to us. So it's not the cost, because absolutely recognise that, and the numbers are there. So this is why it's not an officer question, it's a question to you, Chair, because it's about actually explaining the situation around the town centre and the confidence. Because you're new administration and you're setting out a 4-year trajectory. That was my question, not the costs.
Okay, well, it's not a political decision. It's a decision made on the basis of what's best for the council, the residents, the tenants within the lexicon and our economic strategy going forward. And we don't believe that these costs are going to affect the understanding of what we're trying to do with the economic strategy and the effect that will have on economic growth.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Okay. So I'd like to be able to, Councillor Bill, would like to move the recommendation set out in page 11. Would like anybody else to second it, please?
Councillor Parnell, I'll second that.
Okay. Councillor Bill would like to, as mover, I'd like to speak a little bit about, build on what I've just responded to Councillor Barnard. And it is not something that we would do without due consideration. Ideally, we would look to find a subsidy of some sort to be able to cover costs, especially for the shorter hours. That is not possible, given the recent statements that have been made public about the economic state of the council and the forecast losses. We would be irresponsible not to take the council's advice, the officer's advice, and put these increases forward. There is one, I suppose, ray of sunshine in the increased charges, and that's that the all-day charges for the college are only going up by 50p, and while that is not a massive incentive, it does help those less fortunate with less income to be able to come into the town centre, and also encourages people to go to college, which it starts at the bottom of our economic regeneration strategy. So I would strongly recommend that everybody on the committee agrees with the option 1 and agrees with me and votes for it. So without more further ado, I would like a second to speak, if you would like to speak.
Thank you, Chair. I would just also like to point out that after the hours stay, it's still cheaper to park your car in a Bracknell car park than any of the other surrounding areas. So,
Good point. Good point. Thank you. Does any other member wish to speak?
Councillor Jeffreys. So this is more of a question, I suppose, or thought process. So does this mean we might be in a position where we are encouraging residents to actually park for longer? And if they park for longer, then that means they spend more time in towns, meaning hopefully generated more revenue for the lexicon?
Well, I think what we need to do is, as part of the common strategy, is to, when we start communicating to the residents about why the charges have been what they are, then that is something that we can then emphasise that, of course, come and see our lovely lexicon, come and enjoy the facilities of the town centre. The longer you stay, the cheaper it is. But I'll leave it to the marketing and comms people to come up with a wordage. Any other members? Anybody else want to speak? Okay. Okay, well, I don't think there's any more I need to say, so I would like to move the recommendation set out in page 11 of the agenda and ask for all those in favour. Any against? No. It's unanimous, I think. Agenda item 7 and 8 includes the light disclosure of... Oops, I've done that one, haven't I? Yeah, I think, yeah, sorry. I will get the hang of this, I'm sure. Agenda items 7 and 8 include the likely disclosure of exempt information, so we'll be moving into private session to discuss these items. Move the motion below that pursuant to Regulation 4 of the Local Authorities Executive Arrangements, Access to Information, Regulations 2012, and having regard to the public interest, members of the public and press be excluded from the meeting for the considerations of item 8 and 9, which involves the likely disclosure of exempt information under the following category of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972. Information related to the financial or business affairs of any particular person, including the authority holding that information. So I seek a seconded and put to the vote that exemption position. So what we're voting on now is whether we can go into a exclusion, okay? Yep. Which we want to do because we've now got pink paper to discuss. So I shouldn't really lead people into the vote, should I, like that? But Do we need a second now?
Councillor Purnell, I'll second
Thank
that.
you very much. In that case, I will ask the clerk to close the public part of the meeting and to confirm when the recording is ended.